With looks and brain, he became Mr. America's Supranational 2017. Cody Ondrick. How did it all start?
Well, it all started back in Rhode Island, United States. That's where I grew up my whole life. I just moved out to Los Angeles about 10, 11 months ago. And what really started it was sports. Sports made me such a competitive person in anything I did. I never liked losing, and I always tried my best. I was always 100% with anything I did, and that really just made me always want to do my best in whatever I did. And my parents and my grandfather and some of my best friends were such a huge influence on that, always challenging me and just telling me, you gotta be number one, be the leader, go out and do something big. And it flowed through with school, with sports, and that just created just such a strong drive for me. And after that, I just, when I told everyone I wanted to move to Los Angeles, everyone at first was kind of skeptical about it and saying, you don't know anybody in Los Angeles, how are you going to find a job out there? You have family and friends here, why don't you stay? But I stayed confident. I just told them I'm going to do this no matter what, whether you guys tell me to or not. And I prepared myself for this because, that's just one tip I could give for everybody is you're going to have negative comments from the closest people to you because they don't want to see you fail. And you can't see it as they just don't want you to go out and do something big. It's they're nervous because they don't want to do it or something along those lines. And the more confident I sounded, the more I said it to my friends and my family. They were like, okay, if this is what you really want to do, I believe in you and you can go do it. And so I moved out here. I met some great people that helped me out along the way. It's another thing, always surround yourself with amazing people. And I was contacted, the manager of Mr. United States, to ask if I wanted to run for Mr. United States. And I said, yes, of course. And that competition was about a month long. I ended up winning, and then they told me, all right, you're going to go off to Poland and Slovakia now to try winning Mr. Supranational. And I was like, wow, this is going to be amazing. I went out there, ended up winning Mr. Americas, and it was an unbelievable experience getting to meet people from 40 different countries around the world. Now I can say I have friends from all over the place, all those countries, and it was an amazing time.
What sport did you do when you grew up?
Football and baseball, and I also did martial arts, but football was definitely the more competitive one with all that contact. It's like you just wanted to be the most powerful, the fastest, and everything, and that's what really pushed me. And I was going to the gym 2 hours a day, and that's what really made me very competitive because football is an extremely competitive sport.
Can you mention some friends who meant something for you?
Definitely, I would say two of my friends growing up. One, Josh, he at 19 years old, he just got a backpack and left and went to Manhattan. And I remember I was one of his close friends saying, Manhattan's an amazing place, but do you think you could really do this? It's extremely expensive. You don't know anyone out there. And I was one of the guys that was saying those things, just like how I had friends and family saying it to me when I told them about LA, and it kind of reminded me like, oh wow, like I was one of those people saying it to my friend Josh. But that gave me a push and a drive that said, if he can go out to New York and make it and do great things, why can't I go out to Los Angeles and do great things? So he was definitely a huge influence on me, and he also got me into reading books on the law of attraction and how whatever you think you attract, and that was a tremendous change in my life. And my other friend Billy, he had so much knowledge about business, and we just had different strengths and different weaknesses, and we combined. He helped me just realize the ins and outs of business because his dad runs a very successful business, and we started running our own business, hosting events of 1,000+ people at 15 years old. So that was just a great experience, and I learned so much from that. Just going through all paperwork and doing all that at such a young age, and if it wasn't for him, I probably would have never done it. So those two are definitely a huge influence on me growing up.
Can you mention some specific situation where your father or mother or grandfather did something to help you?
I would say, I was always a quieter kid, but when I went into high school, they said, if you really want to be a big football player and go to a Division I college with football, because that was my whole life before modeling and acting was football. That was my number one sport. And they said, you got to be loud and you have to be a leader. And that's when, I just said, okay, it was like, I need to stand up and start speaking out and getting everyone together and actually be the leader of this team. And it happened. In high school, I stood out and I was the captain by choice of 100 players on the team, and I was voted most to be the captain, and it really impacted me. I said, wow, like, all these guys believe in me, and they barely know me. They've known me for 3 weeks, but they all believe in me, and that was just a huge impact. And coming out to Los Angeles, my mom, dad, and grandfather said, it's like, it's good that you're getting out of Rhode Island. It's a small state. There's not much room to do big things. I mean, you can do big things anywhere, but I wanted to do the modeling and the acting, so I knew I had to go to New York or Los Angeles, and they said, we believe in you, and we're happy that you're going and doing this, and making a big change. And it's, it was great to hear that.
Thank you very much, Cody Ondrick.
Thank you.